Brain Candy Podcast, episode 745.
Oh my gosh! I thought I was saying in the last episode we were only on like episode 730 something.
I know.
Where am I? Where was I?
Yeah, man, you're in the past. Live in the now, man.
Yeah.
Here we are.
740 what?
5.
That's a great number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it fuchsia?
No, it's like turquoisey and a little bit of red and a little bit of green. 45 is Christmas, so.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And weird. Okay, anyway, what's new in your world? You have any hot goss to share?
God, I wish I did.
I wish you did too.
I know. Nobody has told me to smile recently, so that's been nice. Mm-hmm. You know? Okay. That was a big one. I got a lot of people who wrote in about that.
Everyone hates that.
And it had been a long time since it had happened. And you kind of forget what it feels like if it hasn't happened in a while.
Do you think that it hasn't happened in a while because you're getting older? Because, like, they only do it to, like, cute young things, I think.
Yeah.
And so it probably will diminish over time. I
also think Colorado's different. I do think that. I think that this is a sweeping generalization, but if somebody who has lived in LA and like born and raised in Los Angeles, like whoever is born in Los Angeles, no one, like 4 people, that's it.
Right.
So somebody born in Los Angeles, grew up in California their whole life. Women, in my experience as a woman, are more appreciated for their skills and abilities.
That makes sense.
Rather than what they look like,
youth
or
and beauty,
who they know or are connected to in Los Angeles and California.
Yeah.
Like
different value set.
Yeah, like if you and it's not, and it's almost like, yeah, it's a different value set. Mm-hmm. It's how you take care of yourself, how you treat the outdoors, how you spend your free time, whether your free time is spent engaging with nature or in like, you know, how you present to the world. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like a lot of people in Los Angeles spend a lot of their free time and money on bettering themselves in a superficial way rather than in experiences. And this is nothing against that. I am saying this as somebody who loves all those things. But
sure.
There's like there's a priority in California for that and not here. And I like that.
Do you remember when we were talking about how if somebody enrages you on the road, that it's like funnier and better to do thumbs down than it is to do the finger?
Yes.
Would that, do you think that would work if someone tells you to smile, if you just went boo and then gave them like a thumbs down?
Yeah, because you have to shame them in the same way. So they're like, it throws them off and they're thinking about it.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Because it would totally catch them off guard.
Boo. Boo. Boo.
Please, yes.
I'm telling you, nothing, well, it worked for me. I'm never picking flowers again.
Right.
For many reasons.
Yes.
I'm sold now.
For many reasons.
I am all about,
social norms.
Protect the pollinators, leave the flowers.
Yeah, they're okay.
But so booing works is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it does. So maybe I'll try that because I feel like if you just smile or giggle, then they get what they want. And if you get mad, then they think you're a hysterical.
Right. So what if you stayed straight-faced, didn't even say anything, and just gave them the thumbs down?
Love it.
Ooh.
Yeah, dead-eyed thumbs down.
No emotional reaction because you can't give them what they want, you know.
All right, ladies, if you're listening, one of you is going to be told to smile soon.
Okay.
Get ready with that thumb.
Yeah.
And the deadpan look of consternation.
Yeah. Ooh, good word.
Thanks. Good. Really good. Let us know how it goes. Okay.
But how are
Moving
you?
on.
What's new
I
in
mean,
your
I
world?
wish I had some big story, but
No, I
not too
don't have
much.
anything. I guess like no news is good news.
Well, Lincoln participated in the first football game. They have like a pep assembly, and they wanted everyone to dress in the colors of the school, and which are black and gold, which is also the Steelers' colors,
yeah.
of course. So Lincoln decided he was going to do that, and there was like a contest.
Oh, yes.
Right? So you know what happens. Like it was all hands on deck. We were just like, what do we got to do to be winners, right?
Yes.
So we're like buying all this stuff and like getting all this gear and getting them all layered up. And so he goes off to school. And then when I pick him up, he's like, well, number one, I won. But number two, there was a second part to the contest that I didn't know about.
Oh, no.
It was a dance competition in front of everybody.
You know what? This is great. And he won?
He won.
Hell yeah, Lincoln!
Yeah. He was real sore the next day, though, because his legs were, like, tired. He was doing that Russian dance where you kick your legs up, like,
good job,
in a
Link.
squat
Yeah, that's
position.
hard.
Yeah. I probably, level of difficulty 10 out of 10 on that one.
If that isn't his mother's son,
I know. It's so
the
sad.
school mascot, he's got
Right.
that in his future.
That's the
He
family
can follow in the
business.
family's footsteps. Yes.
So
You just
funny.
like pass down the giant fluffy head.
Right. It's like passing the torch, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
son,
Yeah.
there are 3 rules to mascotting. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Well, I was mostly proud that he was not embarrassed.
That
because
is so. Look at Link.
that's
He's
good.
really getting out of his shell.
I'm so
Like,
proud
this is
of him.
awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Happy about that. So that's what's the latest around here. I mean,
That's great.
it was a big moment in the Butler house.
Aw.
Another big moment is when we got our wild grain delivery. Obviously. Yum.
I'm telling you know what I'm dreaming of right now? Those
Croissants.
English muffins.
Oh, the muffins. I see that. Yeah.
Because here's what you guys are thinking right now. Oh, like I've had an English muffin. No, you have not.
No.
The English muffins that you get at the grocery store regular are not like these are like 2 inches tall.
I know. They're substantial.
Yeah.
It's not a wimpy muffin.
They're dying for hollandaise sauce to be put on.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Eggs Benny all day.
Yes. Oh,
All day long.
chef's kiss.
So good. Wild Grain has tons of products. It's pastries and pasta and bread that comes frozen when it arrives. And then you put it in your freezer and then just take it out when you're ready to eat it. And it's ready lickety split. And it really does taste like bakery fresh. Mm-hmm. And it's got that slow fermentation process. So it's easy on your stomach and it tastes delicious. So what more do you want? Jeez. Now you can fully customize your wild grain box. So you can get any combination of breads, pastas, and pastries that you like. If you want a box of all bread, all pasta, all pastries, you can have that. Plus, for a limited time, you get $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/braincandy. That's wildgrain.com/braincandy, or you can use our promo code braincandy at checkout.
Yum.
Yamalish.
Oh, gotta get back to the show, Sarah. Thinking about an egg sandwich.
Snap out of it.
Bacon.
I watched the John McEnroe documentary, which is on...
John McEnroe. Oh, he's a tennis player.
Yes.
Okay.
Tennis player. He peaked in like 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
But
Is he the one who yelled a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Yeah, he's
is.
kind of a dick.
I know. I was
You love
loving
it, huh?
I do. I love it. Because you know what? You know how tennis is so uppity, so snobby, so like white.
Yeah.
And I do love, even though he's a white man, when someone comes in and says like, fuck off. This is not that serious.
Yeah.
Like, stop it with your like, what are the like rules of decorum?
Right.
Even now, recently, Adam said to me, hey, did you hear, I think it was at Wimbledon, that women are now allowed to wear like black shorts. So, because they were having to wear white even when they're on their period. Right? And so now they're like, but now if you wear black, it's probably like,
oh, she's on a period.
yeah. she's got her grandma panties in there and whatever. But I mean, just the fact that that's a big deal in the year of our Lord 2023 is insane to me. It seems crazy.
It is crazy. You do have to.
Who is making these? White people are so weird.
So weird. And what all of it is just to keep other people out. Mm-hmm. It's totally rooted in like racism and discrimination and, marginalization, all that stuff.
Yeah.
No. I know that like, I knew some people who used to do lawn bowling and it felt the same. There are so many, like, you gotta wear all white. You gotta wear this. You gotta, like, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It feels like this is. Golf was like that at one time.
Big time.
Big time.
My God, Serena Williams, the shit she had to deal with.
Still.
Right. I mean, every move she makes, they were like, what is this? What is happening?
Right.
On the court?
The funniest thing in the whole world, I mean, and saddest. If I funniest, I mean like, ha ha.
Right.
When they tried to say that her competing at 3 months pregnant was an unfair advantage.
What were they talking about?
Like, what?
How can you even make that with a straight face?
So some people trying to say like, oh, you're at like, okay, so hang on, what is it? We can't be president because
we're too emotional,
we have an unfair physical advantage if we're like.
How could they seriously make that and not bust out laughing?
I mean.
Right. Unfair advantage. I love it. Like it gives you superhuman strength or something.
Right. Come on.
Okay. Well, she already has that, so whatever. But I did enjoy the John McEnroe thing. Maybe it took like a white guy to break the rules for then other people to have more freedom.
Yes, that is using your privilege in a effective way, in a way.
But
I don't know if he was intentionally doing it like that, but it does help.
Okay, so there's this famous outburst that he had at Wimbledon, and he was always yelling at the umpires. I asked Adam, he said that's what they're called. It sounds like wrong, but they're called umpires. These guys that sit up on that chair.
Sure.
And
do they wear stripes? They feel like
they don't, I don't think. Yeah. But he was mad about one call, and he did this line where he was like, you cannot be serious. It hit the line. Chalk flew up. And when he said chalk flew up, and then I watched it, and chalk definitely did fly up, I was like, okay, but he's a dick, but he's right.
Right.
I would be the same way, at least inside.
Yeah.
And
it's the same with, if you want people to be really revved up and competing at a high level and passionate about playing their game, it's hard to, in the same breath, like try to like hold them accountable and like be like, rein it in. You can't be like passionate and enthusiastic. Like, like I feel the same way when they get like, I don't know, NFL players in trouble for like, I don't know, being rowdy out in public. I'm like, you literally trained them to do this. Like, this is what they do all day long. You've conditioned them to respond this way, and you're surprised. I mean, it's not like we shouldn't hold them accountable, but we shouldn't be surprised when we see that same kind of behavior. You know, it's like, I don't know. So I can imagine that sports people get like that. Like,
even when I watched the Michael Vick documentary about the dog fighting ring that he had, obviously that's repugnant, but like in his...
It's funny you kind of made a dog pun right there. I have to say it.
How often does that happen? It is crazy.
So often. Usually we get people who write in. Like, I wonder, we're just always making puns all day long, like in regular life. The only reason we notice is because we have it recorded. It's repugnant, correct?
It is. But in his upbringing, this is just a part of life. They fight dogs. Yeah. That's what goes on in certain parts of the South. And so, it's gross and it's against the law, but it is also very culturally, contextually appropriate, depending on how you grew up. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like what you're saying, where they recruit these people,
right,
that
Right.
are often from vulnerable populations. Then they're like, but why aren't you acting more
Right.
civilized?
Yeah.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It is. Anywho, I was entertained by it, but his wife came on and she was like, John's probably on the spectrum. And it's like, he even said, like, I have no empathy. That's a real flaw for me.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on like The Apprentice or something like that? Where did I see him?
Was he?
I swear, I
would love
I know
to see
him.
that.
I got to know him not because I was
From the
too young
sport.
to really know him as a tennis
Yeah.
player. I knew him as a celebrity. Yeah.
I love it. That's so funny. And that is the good thing about those shows that have like old, like aging.
Yeah, he was on The Apprentice. I knew it.
Did he win?
Wonder
what
season finale,
season.
it says. Wow. I think so.
John. Man, he's a real
Maybe.
Renaissance man.
Oh, no, he made a cameo on The Apprentice.
Okay.
Okay.
I could see how he'd be good at that though, because if you don't have a lot of like,
Yeah, he was only on one episode.
if you don't have a lot of empathy, you'd be probably really good in business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he still holds all kinds of records. He was excellent, but man, he could not control his temper.
I think more people are on the spectrum when we look in the past, and like I just watched the movie Oppenheimer. I mean, I'm like, come on.
Okay, because I watched the Oppenheimer documentary.
Oh,
And
tell me
so-
everything.
Well, I was curious, like how he
They
was
made
portrayed.
him way too cool.
I think so.
Way too cool.
Although they did say in the documentary that he sort of developed this persona on purpose because he was so awkward of Oppie or whatever the nickname was.
Oh yeah.
He was like intentionally trying to be cooler. So maybe he was. I don't know.
I could see that.
Did he seem likable?
He seemed like he was. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching the actor's portrayal of him, and he seemed like somebody who had different goals and objectives in life than what normal people had, where it's a life in pursuit of scientific discovery rather than relationships
Connections.
and connections. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then the realization of the way that his creation almost made disconnections, like, and separated him more from that. And I just think that was good writing and well acted. I don't know if that's I would be interested to see the real story. Terrible movie for female portrayal of characters. If I didn't say that already in a previous episode.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
But-
I came out of that movie and I was like, thumbs down, boo to the female characters in this film. There were two. One was a terrible mother who was an alcoholic, and the other one was schizophrenic and killed herself. Spoiler alert.
Lovely.
And
Well,
they all have 4 lines. And I was like, okay.
The documentary made it clear that he mistreated women and that they framed it as the way that humans can have multitudes because he's Jewish. And so he understood oppression and why we shouldn't, mistreat different kinds of people, but yet at the same time had like a blind spot or whatever about the equality of women.
Yeah, and they glorified it in the movie. I think they made it look they like romanticized it, I should say.
Okay.
And they did
Christopher Nolan. That
Yeah, I was like, I didn't leave feeling like it was a movie at all made for me, or even like it was through a male perspective. I do think that the things that I've learned about how they did the special effects in it are awesome and amazing and super cool, but just like two things can
This
be
is
true
for a
at the
teenage
same
boy,
time.
just like every other
This
movie.
is-
Yeah.
This is for Christopher Nolan, and
I'll tell you what's made for me, and that's caraway, bakeware, and cookware.
definitely, I'm in the market for something new. I want one of the new, like a new skillet pan,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
I rave reviews. Everything I've ever gotten from them has been top of the line, the best cookware and bakeware I've ever had.
Yeah.
And then they're real pretty.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause I
like-
have the Dutch oven already. And now I want to expand the line because we're only using stainless steel, and I need another option. I need something for like quick.
I'm telling you, eggs. Your life will be changed.
Yeah, eggs. That's it. That's the thing.
So I can't recommend them enough, but the best part about them is they work so well as nonstick, even though they don't have the toxic chemicals. And that to me always feels like you have to pick one or the other. Do you want it to be toxic, or do you want it to be you know what I mean? Yeah. Like whatever. Yeah. And so you don't have to make that choice. You get non-toxic and nonstick. Visit carawayhome.com/braincandy to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/braincandy or use code braincandy at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern.
And I always see this at the other stores without the discount, so there you go.
Did they make it the Oppenheimer film? Did they sort of make it clear that part of the reason why he felt justified in developing this technology that was so, murderous or potentially harmful to the world is because they felt like they were stopping Hitler and that stopping
that it was a race too, and they knew the. I learned this when you know this too. Anytime you narrow your field of study, you realize that there's like 10 people in all of it. And it's like all the same people. Like when I watch videos of like the early days of psychology and therapy, it's the same 10 people at every single meeting, at every single, even when I watched the Mr. Rogers documentary and I was like, what? That's who he's talking to about, they're all talking. It's the same 5 people. So the world of physics was very similar, where it was the same 5-10 guys who were, making all of the what's his name? Niels Bohr. Then, there were. Look, I'm gonna think that I know how to name physicists right now. I know one. Then there's like Einstein, and then there's Oppenheimer, and then there's like 2 others. And so when these major world powers were recruiting physicists, they were not like, oh, we're only going to find German ones. Oh, we're only going to use American ones. They were like, what can we do to persuade all these different countries? Like, what can we do to persuade these physicists to come and make weapons for us? And it's like, he who has the biggest gun or bomb or whatever wins. Yeah. And so I think that Oppenheimer knew who was developing bombs for Germany, and knew that if he didn't find a team to develop it faster, it was who gets there faster, and they had a head start.
Right. And so you do feel justified in making something like that, because it's like, well, if somebody's going to make it, it ought to be the quote unquote good guys.
Good guy. Right.
That's to be argued who's the good guy or whatever. But that's probably what his logic was, right?
Yeah. One of the craziest videos, Eli showed me this after we saw the movie. There is a video on YouTube you can look at that compares the sizes of blasts, of explosions, and different, like, as you detonate these different bombs and the destruction that it causes and what we have in the arsenal now. And it is, it's horrific. It's insane. Like,
it's insane.
Like, actually, maybe don't look at it. Because you can't unlook at it. And now I know information where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to like go grocery shopping today. Well, let me just decorate my little house over here. Like, you feel like, so.
Yes, I don't love that.
I don't love it either.
But again, then you think, well, we have to do something, because what if the only ones building them are fucking Kim Jong-un or whoever? And
you know where they store them? Colorado.
Why?
Yeah, your son told me this, Susie.
Oh, what's the story?
That they have all like the nukes that they store in the mountains in Colorado because it's high above elevation. It's like safe from a lot of stuff. There's not earthquakes.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
It's very protected,
all
like a lot of the mountains here. And I just went to an off-road training course. Like Eli and I did this off-road class this weekend where we take the car out and like learn
class.
how to, yeah. Oh,
That's
it was,
so funny.
let me tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to do this, this was one of the, if you have any 4-wheel drive car, this was one of the most useful, beneficial classes. It was from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We learned how to emergency repair a car out in the middle of nowhere, like with things that you have on hand, how to, like what you need to look for, how to check your car before you leave, like how to, pick a line and get up how to like maintain the momentum to get over things. I feel like a safer driver, and like I can I'm more knowledgeable and better prepared anytime I get into a vehicle with this one class.
That's great.
Yeah, super helpful. But the guy who was teaching the class was saying, kind of giving his rundown of like his credentials, and he does like these trainings for the people who transport the nukes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He's like, because need rescue, they need like, because those are the things you do not want to have go down and like need to be rescued.
Can you imagine if you're trying to drive with that thing on the back of your cab?
And he's like, yeah, if you ever see, and he was like describing the setup of what it looks like of like 2 trucks in the back with this kind of trailer in front. That's the transportation of a nuclear
I do not
missile.
love it. That
like,
should be illegal.
And I'm like, have you seen these roads? These icy roads over here? You've driven them, Susie. They're insane.
I feel like they should just build them where they want them.
Right, just like leave them.
Why are you transporting these?
I don't know.
And
Just
like when I'm
right in my
listening to you
hometown.
taking that class, I'm just thinking that is so great. But like, or you could not do this stuff.
Right.
That puts you in that position.
Yeah, but this is like just good to know. Like if you're like even there's we're gonna take the next class, which is a what do they call it? Recovery class. So like if you're ever, especially on these roads here, like if you're driving in ice and the car flips over, how do you attach it to a tree at which points and which angles to flip it back over and to get safe, like to be safe? And when do you get out of the car? What roads are
Who
good?
is offering these classes?
Oh, the guy who taught it is, I told him after, I was like, you are really good at your job. He is
That's nice.
He's from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
He's from Pennsylvania.
I love that.
He said he grew up in like the farms in Pennsylvania, and he's been riding in like, 4-wheel drive cars, and he like specializes in this, and then started training people, and he trains like the wildlife, like fire teams, and people who have to get like, he does all search and rescue. He's part of like oh, and this is cool. He said in the state of Colorado, search and rescue is at no charge because they never want you to have to decide, should I call somebody or should I, can I afford to call somebody? They never ever want anybody to have to make that decision. So they use this like volunteer-based like search and rescue that's like tons of members that he's like a part of the training for. And I just love that. It's like people who
that's
like
good.
Want like to rescue people if they're hurt or
I'm glad there's people like you weirdos,
Yeah,
but I just
it's great.
can't relate. I mean, tell the truth.
Yeah.
At any time in the 8 hours were you like, I'm bored?
No, not one time. It was in every single thing felt useful.
Wow.
And I never felt like I was treated any different because I was a female in that class.
Were you the only one?
There were 2.
Okay. Well, that makes me happy that you
And I never felt like he was like talking to the men or like you're just a passenger kind of thing. When I didn't nod that like I understood something, he's like, you need to know that too. Do you good to? I was like, oh yeah, I'm good, got it. Like, yeah.
Okay.
And he was so good. So I think that's a really good class. I would also send, I told him, this is how they should fucking teach physics, because all of it was about momentum. He was like talking about the laws of motion. I'm like, if you took a high school class out here, you would have everybody acing the test. I was like, this is how they need to teach it. He used a little Hot Wheels car to explain like the tip over and like where the center of gravity is and how to get the center of gravity back under the car. He's like, this is all just physics. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. It was science all day long. I loved it.
Because I always think, those people, they're just like going to their friend's house or something and it's in a snowstorm.
Yes.
And then they like make one wrong turn And they're dead meat.
That is why I think anybody, if I had a child who was getting his driver's license, I don't know why I say he, she, I just always imagine my child to be a he. I'm thinking of Lincoln. But I would want them to, I would sign them up for this class and be like, nope, you're taking this rescue and recovery class. You're taking the
She's putting it on the chore chart.
Put it on the chore chart. Yeah. Like do not pass go, like how to get out of, and I found out they have an ICE driving one where they teach you how to get out of situations if you're driving it. I'm coming from California. I need this shit.
I just feel like there should be like a 1 hour version, like the real quick one.
No, you need the full day. It's immersive. You got to be like out there.
Well, if I'm ever in the car with you, I'm going to feel real good.
Yeah, you should. You should feel good. And it was the only time where driving with 2 feet is encouraged. And I was like, he's like, does anybody here do that? I'm like, yes,
I
and
do
everybody
too.
yells at me for it.
Yes.
And he's like, that's the best skill to have in this because you'll be able to maintain the throttle and get through, like you can fine tune, like work with the motor more. And I'm like,
suck it.
Everybody.
Naysayers.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I want to suck on, and that is some liquid IV. Am I right?
Oh, it's so funny you say that because we took them to this class and we were passing it out because we're like, this is, we need this. And also, I got a whole bunch of liquid IV that like, this is what I give to everybody.
I mean, you have to keep them on hand. Well, for Sarah, especially because in that freaking, what's it called? High elevation situation.
Yes.
It is like you're constantly parched. And liquid IV is a little packet that you can pour into your water so you get hydrated faster. And it gives you all the vitamins and minerals and all the stuff that you need to get there without having to drink. When you see those jugs people drink, I'm like, you are not being efficient. Liquid IV isn't just for athletes or bodybuilders or whatever the heck. It is great for anybody. Keep it for your kids after their games. Keep it in your car. It's great for travel. So it's for everyone, not just these fancy pants athletes. Right. And they have tons of flavors. They taste great. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code CANDY at checkout. That's 20% off anything when you shop Better Hydration today. Use promo code CANDY at liquidiv.com. Great for like after the gym. Yeah. Just keep it in your car or in your purse or whatever. Mm-hmm. Real handy.
Yep. Go to.
Yes. Okay. Moving on. Okay.
I guess I did have more to talk about this weekend than I thought. Look at that. Vroom, vroom.
Well, yeah, you're so busy over there taking classes.
Oh, just getting prepping for life, man.
Informed. She's a troubleshooter over there.
I was telling you, I'm like, we just got to keep learning. Like, this is like, I said that. I'm like, I consider myself a lifetime learner, like we always say. And I'm always into expanding my knowledge base. And now I know how to I can fix a belt in a car with pantyhose.
I don't even know what a belt is.
Right.
In a car. Where does that go?
Pantyhose, they're like the thing that holds like part of the engine. It keeps the engine running. I don't know. It's like a belt. That's just what they say. I know what it looks like.
It goes around something?
Yeah.
That's what belts do. Yeah. So I'm just like,
and then like I know how to
stab in the dark.
And they can snap and they can break, and you can use pantyhose in a pinch to repair it and get yourself to safety, where you can then call a tow truck or something.
Oh my gosh! Do you have pantyhose in your car? Like, are you going to keep them?
But I will. I'll put it in my emergency kit that I keep in the car.
That is so
just
smart.
a little 99-cent.
What else should I put in there?
It's funny you say that because I did take I was just looking on Instagram and this thing came up that was like, what's actually in people's like prepared kits and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I bet this would be interesting. I'm going to take a picture of this and talk about it because there were some items that I didn't think of. One of the things that was on multiple people's list is a jar of peanut butter.
Okay.
Because it doesn't expire very quickly and it's very nutrient dense. It's like a good thing if you're like stuck in a snowstorm situation, you roll over in a bank and you're in there and need to wait to get rescued or something. Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, that's a great tip.
That in there. That's
Do you like creamy or crunchy?
Crunchy.
No.
I know. You don't like that, huh?
Why? You feel judged right now?
I don't know. The no made it a little bit judgy.
I guess so. But I mean, is this something people have judged you for in the past?
Yeah. Because I usually get, but it's okay because Eli and I are both crunchy, so we're fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
Soulmates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super
Because
crunchy.
Lincoln asked me that last night because he just was like, who likes crunchy? You know, because if you have a favorite, you can't believe anybody would like the other one, I think.
Eli is
good
such
to
a
know.
fan,
Crunchy.
and he likes, he's very specific about the kind he likes. He likes, it's like Jif extra crunchy. So for Christmas, because I always, you know how I love stockings, and he's Jewish, so I'm like, the only thing, like, but we're going to do stockings. We're each going to do, I'm going to get him a stocking and fill it. And so I wanted to get him peanut butter and put it in the stocking. So I go to the store and I look on the shelf, and I've never purchased Jif peanut butter in my life. I'm always like the organic, blah,
I know, right? Like the oily, weird stuff.
You just got to sit upside down for like 12 months before it even, like, you know, they got to mix it with like, I think I need Arnold's Pumpkin Club just to be able to mix the fucking thing. So I look on the shelf for the Jif, and it says extra, extra crunchy. And I was like,
whoa.
He didn't say extra, extra.
Oh my God.
And I had like, I must have stared at that peanut butter. And this was like, you know, not like new into us
There's,
dating,
like,
but
smoke
still
coming
in like
out of your
yes,
ears.
in like the first like, you know, couple months of like,
I gotta be honest though, at a certain point, it's just peanuts.
And then when I was like, I'll be honest, I had a panic because I didn't know what's too much. Is it too much peanuts? Like,
right.
Because that's how I feel about Oreos. Like, I love an Oreo, but double stuff, blech. So is this a double stuff situation where too much of a good thing is not a good thing anymore? And he was like, no, that's the one. And so, like, I just want to put it out there to the Jif people. Extra, extra crunchy is confusing. Just regular. There's no extra. There's no. It's either there, or I should say, there's no crunchy. It's either that's it. It's smooth or extra crunchy. And I was like,
that's over the top.
There's no. What about regular crunchy?
Cool your jets, Jif.
You can't just go like. No stuff, double stuff. That's what it felt like.
That is so true.
Right? We've skipped something. So that's where the panic set in. I hope everybody's on board with what
This is how I know we have an opinion about everything.
Oh, because I could give you 5 minutes on Jif peanut butter, which I still don't know if Jif or Jiffy.
It's Jif.
Jif,
J-I-F.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Jiffy is the cornbread mix.
Jiffy is the cornmeal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's a debate that I think is so funny.
Better than smooth or crunchy.
Yeah. I get news about religion, and there is this article about how at churches now, you know, of course, worship is always a big deal. And, you know, evangelicals have always done. You're
Isn't
like,
that
that's
the
their
only
bread and butter. Yeah, they love praising
bread
the Lord.
and wine, or cracker and wine.
It's true. But like evangelicals in particular, it's like
worship.
They got the dry ice. They got the like electric guitars. They are really into this showmanship.
Worshiping is like when you're singing and when you've like got your hands in the air, and it's like, and somebody maybe is talking over it. Okay, got it.
Uh-huh. And for many years, they've been doing streaming so that people can watch from home.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously with the pandemic that increased.
Yes.
And a lot more churches are doing that.
Yes.
And so they said that they're feeling the heat. They're feeling the pressure because what it sounds like live is different than what it sounds like through your computer speakers when you're just directly getting the microphone.
You don't get the concert. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it can sound pitchy. And so they're starting to use like auto-tune.
No.
Yeah, to pitch correction and stuff. And I wondered what your thoughts. Choir? Yeah, like the worship leaders.
Okay, hang on a sec. If we're going to play like that's the way God made us, and
I mean,
then that's the way God made you.
I thought that the whole message was like the literal good news was you are flawed, but Jesus is going to save you. Like we're imperfect, but somebody's blood's washing it clean, sanctified in the blood, baby.
Yeah.
But apparently you still suck.
Yeah.
And
you still got to be on pitch.
Yeah. So, what's that guy's name on American Idol? Dog?
Yeah.
Where he's like,
Randy Jackson. That's a no for
Randy
me, dog.
Yeah. They're like, that is pitchy as hell, and we need to fix it.
I will never forget one of the things that has stuck with me the most from all the episodes that we've done that you've said is when you talked about, it must have been a book that we read for the book club, or maybe this was just an original Susie idea. I don't know. How somehow we made it so everybody has to be a professional singer, that singing just for the joy of singing is no longer something. It's like we became harsh critics, and we were kind of discussing what do you think kind of started that? And maybe was it the rise of these things like American Idol and things where we're judging all the singers, or maybe it's because people auto-tune now that we feel like we want everybody to be a better singer, and we're like more critical of it. But when you said that, and you said we should just be able to do this thing that's very natural, that's very healing and powerful and grounding and like rooted in so many different cultures and all good stuff, and we don't do it, or we hold back because we think we're not good enough, that is a problem. And ever since you said that, I feel less embarrassed to dance poorly or sing poorly. And I just do it.
That is great. Good
and I
for
don't even care.
you. And you know what? Your body will thank you. It's so good for your mind and your spirit and your physical body. Why not?
Yeah. I just read something. This was a thing I was going to talk about many, many podcasts ago, but you had picked something else to talk about when I asked you which one. And it was about our aging voices and how our voice ages. And how if we overuse or strain our voice, we can build up these little like fluid sacs, these little nodules on they get kind of filled with fluid on our vocal cords, and it can make us sound like that hoarse, like raspy voice, which, you know, I get all the time. And you know what helps cure it? Singing.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's like vibrating the vocal cords that then frees the sac of that fluid. So singing,
get it out of there.
And I had heard that even with like effects of COVID and like lung problems, that singing is one of the best things you could do for your lung capacity.
That's
and
so
to help
great.
train your lungs, because you have to breathe
Okay.
well. It's diaphragmatic breathing. It's all very good.
Yeah, shout to the Lord, people,
Amen.
because the whole point, in my opinion, of religion is that you don't have to be perfect. That's
Right.
the whole message. And that come as you are.
That was Nirvana.
I hate this.
Just kidding.
That's true. And also the Bible. And so, like, I
cracked myself up.
I do think that this perception that is intentional, that like we are the perfect people,
Yeah.
and we are
Right.
the Stepford wives and the blameless, pure,
Yeah.
whatever, is toxic. It's number 2, false,
Totally.
and number 3, as you say, would prevent people from wanting to
Yeah.
be there in their imperfect state.
Expectations are the enemy.
Enemy.
And creating unattainable expectations for yourself or others will only lead to sadness,
Club.
misery.
That was this week's Pump Club, one of the emails.
Was it really? I didn't even read
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was about, that
See?
part of what makes people sad is if they think it's whatever is supposed to be better.
Right.
So if you have realistic expectations,
Yes.
you're probably going to be happier.
Yes.
See, Arnold knows. And I mean, I'll tell you who else knows, and that's Chime Banking. They know what's up.
Help that
They
credit.
know you need, get your credit cooking. You don't have to stress so much.
It's important.
Everybody needs a little extra money, and their online checking account is here to help you live yours. They have lots of perks with their checking. Fee-free overdrafts up to $200. You can get paid up to 2 days earlier with direct deposit. And then, then if you don't have overdrafts, then you're not affecting your credit poorly, as Sarah
Right.
said. So it's all working together to make good
Let's
stuff.
not give those big banks anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't need to do that.
This is like a digital solution for like the old timey banking industry.
Yes.
Signing up for Chime takes minutes. Join the millions of other Chime members and sign up today. Get started at chime.com/braincandy. That's chime.com/braincandy. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Access to direct deposits up to 2 days early depends on the timing of the submission of the payment file from the payer. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Always have to read the fine print. No mumbo jumbo, though.
Very good.
Okay. I'm not in favor of this, but I do get why the experience is going to be different in person than it would be through a speaker on your computer, and they don't want it to sound like garbage,
this is the problem. Is like the thing that wouldn't you say that community and connection is something that people really benefit from in church and in those settings? Mm-hmm. That I think what's happening is like, you can change the pitch all you want, but you're never going to be able to duplicate the energy and the feeling and the connection when people get together IRL.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I suppose it's better than nothing for some people to be,
yes,
if they are,
totally
have limitations, but in general,
yeah,
I would think that the act of being there with your community is sort of
the point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my opinion. I will see what our listeners think about that. But to me, it's like obvious. Okay. So are you one of these people that when you're in the grocery store and you're checking out, do you go to a cashier or a self-checkout?
I am a self-checkout person now because in this lovely state of Colorado, you can use the self-checkout and still get wine. In California, you had to go through.
It was a rigmarole.
Yeah, self-checkout. So that changed. But now I don't really buy wine at the grocery store anymore either. So yeah, usually self-checkout, it's faster. Unless I have a whole bunch of stuff, in which case. But I also feel like they're going to chit-chat with me, and I'm not into that.
Okay, right. That's for sure my stance. I do not want human interaction. Just, especially with like the small talk brigade. Mm-hmm. I like medium or hard talk only. So that is, or I guess I should say medium or big talk only. And so for me, it's like, if there is self-checkout, we are doing that.
Yeah.
So there was an article in the LA Times, and it was talking about this study, I guess, that was showing that, how there's the loneliness epidemic?
Yeah.
And that all these lonely people are like sad about self-checkout. And I have to say I was judgy.
Well, there is, I think it's Sweden, Finland, somewhere in that general region. Nordic region. They started a separate line in the grocery store just for people. It's like for elderly people who want to chit chat, people who want to have small talk, and they put the cashiers who want to talk and the people who want that and are looking for that, and they give them a line.
Okay. But like, it kind of feels like online church to me. It's like, this is not a connection. Okay, I guess if you don't have anybody in your life.
Substitute for that. Okay. Yeah.
Like this lady, this cashier is not your buddy.
But
she hates you.
But I will say, as somebody who, like, I can imagine as like a therapist, like if I was working with somebody who will say like depression is just taking hold of, then I would say, let's find small, like let's
Start
not
small.
do a medium or heavy, big combo. Like that's too much. So let's do like, what's like a not a 10 or 8, 9, 10. Let's a 1, 2, 3 of like social interaction. What feels okay. And then we're going to add all those up. So you're going to go to the grocery store today, and then you're going to go to the bank, but you're not going to use the ATM. You're going to go in there and you're going to use that. And it would be like therapeutic and I could see myself assigning that as a homework assignment.
Okay, here's what I think would be better.
That. Oh, and then when I see those people who I know truly are in the clutches of depression at the grocery store, because they often are shopping at the same time as I used to when I lived in LA and had crazy schedule and was doing sessions until 11 p.m. It's like the 11:30 grocery store crowd is
they're having tough times.
Tough times or bad either way, bad self-care.
Okay.
I had bad boundaries with my schedule, and they have just other self-care issues.
Sarah can attest to this. What I think would be a better alternative and more fun is my favorite kind of small or medium talk, which is with my servers at restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have them for an hour or more.
You get to reward them for their small talk with a little tip, and it doesn't
they're
feel
incentivized.
Like, yes.
Yeah. And they're in on it. And usually they have the gift of the gab anyway, because that's why they're servers. Yeah. But I swear that then you can, if you're a regular, you'll meet the same ones all the time.
That's great.
And you will develop a relationship. And as long as you're tipping okay, they will be excited to see you.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to add that to the list of homework assignments. It's like go to the same, like go chit-chat.
If you can't talk to a bartender, you got big problems. Right. That's their whole thing.
Oh, can I tell you an experience I had the other week that like was so uncomfortable? And you'll know about this because you and I shared the same experience once of this together. Okay. Eli and I go to a bar. We go to a Mexican restaurant before we were, but like a white people Mexican restaurant, not like a Colorado where it's like
Tex-Mex.
Still looking for good Mexican food. There's like 2 spots here that have them. Like so, that's not true. There are a few more, but you know what I mean. It's not California. So we're there, and this bartender is so clearly on either cocaine or methamphetamine.
What were the symptoms?
Like, couldn't make eye contact, was like chewing his face off, was being really weird and like jerky momentum. And then the other thing that was really uncomfortable is they were one of those restaurants that has their menu and everything on the phone. So Eli and I were both looking at our phone, and then he was like annoyed that we were on our phone. And they also had the pay the bill option on the phone. And then we went to go pay the bill. Another, what I imagine is like the manager or whatever came over to like hand us the bill. And he was like, oh yeah, I got it. And Eli was like looking at his phone still when he handed it. And the bartender goes, yeah, they've been like that. It's like that all night. And Eli was paying the bill.
No.
And he goes, well, unless they're paying the bill. And I go, he's just paying the bill. And then but this guy was, what do you do at a restaurant when the person serving you is...
Oh, right. We did have this experience.
I know.
That was actually scary.
It was, and I felt the same. Susie and I went to a restaurant once where the server was also definitely on... I can only assume meth or fucking
that guy was unhinged.
And it was so much that like Lincoln was everybody was uncomfortable. We're like, no, we're moving right now. Yeah. Like but
that's not great. You don't want to have an antagonistic relationship with the person serving you.
And then I can't help but think like, is the rest of the staff like on this? If I go tell the manager, is it like a culture at this place where now like I'm just like telling his supplier that he's high? Like I don't fucking know what the deal is. I do not know what to do if the server is fucked up.
And I'm not into those like the screen where you have to pay the bill and tip that the server gives you, because they just stand there while you do it. I got to tell them, you're going to make less, because I'll just pick the 20% instead of what I normally would do, which is like tip a ridiculous amount, because it takes too long and I don't want to customize and make you stand there while I'm doing it. Yeah. I even said it to one of my servers. I'm like, do you feel like this system is affecting your tips negatively? Yeah. And she's like, I think it's actually helping, because people feel like I'm watching them, and then they're going to give me 20%.
Yeah. It's not for people like you. They're getting less from people like you.
Yeah.
And more from people who...
From the bozos. She said sometimes people customize it, though, and make it less.
Yeah.
Which, that takes some big balls.
Yeah. Especially when it's like, when I've looked, sometimes I stopped like even thinking about doing that. When I look down and I'm like, oh, it's the difference between like $1.39 and $1.79. More okay. It's like a coffee.
Yeah. The tipping thing is a little
I know.
out of control.
Like,
hey, bosses, pay your employees.
yes.
That'd be great.
Ugh.
Anyway, I'm sorry that happened to you.
What happened to me? Now I don't remember.
Your bartender was high on dope.
Yeah. I was like, what? Oh, no. Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah, that was weird. But like, what do you do? Do you tell the manager? Do you just eat?
I don't know. I guess I just feel.
And then I was like trying to be nice to him because I was like, oh yeah, hi, it's okay. Well,
yeah, you don't want him to
weirdo.
jump across and strangle you.
Bleed.
I just feel like the loneliness thing I get, and I am compassionate, but the self-checkout is not the antidote. That's not where you're going to solve that problem.
This is just, we want to pay people less. And now, don't you feel like whenever you go to check out, there's nobody working at the grocery store?
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Oh, see, I don't love that.
Well, you need help or what? You need assistance?
Well, sometimes, yeah. And sometimes like, because I'm often in there to do things like buy firewood or buy ice that you need like the person for, like every weekend I got to buy ice or.
You're a specialty customer.
Yeah. And I got to like, or like if they got to, get somebody to fill a propane tank or something like that.
This is why you always get in trouble, like where people say rude things because like you're actually requiring.
I got to get ice. You sell ice. You want me to not buy it? Where am I supposed to get this stuff?
You're not the problem. I'm just saying you have more opportunities to deal with dickheads.
Yes, that is true. Yes, that is 100% true.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, don't. It's fine.
And I feel bad for the cashiers who have to talk to these lonely people. I do, because like they don't.
I think some cashiers love it. I know the cashiers at my old grocery stores who they just. Same with Trader Joe's grocery. Trader Joe's.
That is a requirement.
Wow, do they love asking you about your weekend?
They do it. They have to do that.
I just tell them I'm working.
I do hate that question. You got big plans this weekend? Right. Shut up, Brenda.
Right. Why do I hate that
so much?
Talk
to you.
What's wrong with us?
We're the worst.
I know, but like I genuinely love people and care about them and want to hear about their weekends, but like don't ask me.
Yes, me too.
What's wrong?
Yeah, I usually try to ask more personal questions and be like, who was the worst person you saw today? And they usually have a great story about some jackass.
That's so good. Who was the worst person you saw today? Okay, I'm gonna put that in the. Yeah, that's a great way to. That's a great way to deflect from. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, let's shit talk other people.
I don't want.
That's what I want.
I think when you and I are both people that like hold emotional space for others. So when it starts a small talk where they're just like talking to us, it ends up being emotionally draining for us because we're like catering to their emotional needs in that situation, whether that's like high, like empathy or who knows what that is, or like.
I have high curiosity.
Yeah, maybe that. So like
tell me more.
That's a way to turn it around real quick and just be like, who's the worst today?
We're going to have to turn it around and finish this episode now. I'm sad about it.
This went by so fast. This was a good one.
It really did. I mean, I don't know if it was.
Susie, you always say that. This was great. Remember when you accidentally made a dog pun and it was hilarious?
Repugnant. I heard one on last week's episode too, and I was like, we didn't even catch that.
So we never do. It happens all the time. I think it's because we've done this so much that I can almost see where your brain's going, and so my mind goes there, and then I end up saying a thing that is related. Like, I think that maybe is what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
we're
vice
priming
versa.
each other. It's a whole scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do the same.
So, I don't know. John McEnroe, white man, but hilarious yeller, which is so fun. They really don't need anybody like John anymore because the technology has improved. So, like, there's ways to determine if the ball's out that are actually accurate.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But I still think that it's okay for all athletes to slam their tennis racket, break their skateboard.
I love an outburst.
Me too. I do not mind, especially one that's directed towards the thing that they're like, that's fine. What are you going to hold that in? Like, don't go fucking punch the other player in the face. That's not okay.
No,
but you want to slam a tennis racket and go ahead.
Go ahead. Let it out.
Totally. I'd be interested to hear what other people in the mental health profession would say about that if I'm like alone on that island.
I think you were right on the right track when you said, okay, maybe it's not ideal, but it's not surprising. We're humans.
And it's the passion thing. And like it's hard to rein that in.
Hard.
It's hard to, maybe we would say like, how do you feel afterwards? And is that the behavior you want to choose? Da, da, da. But that is the default. Like, it's better than like holding it all in and then getting home and exploding at your partner because they like, I don't know, didn't fold the laundry right or something. That like if you repress those feelings,
take it out on the racket.
Yeah, I just think we should allow athletes to be expressive in their frustrations the same way we allow them to be expressive in their victories.
Yeah, I hate when they get penalized for that too. If they dance, excessive celebration. I think it's called.
I'm like, we love that.
Yeah, forget it.
Right.
I feel like this whole episode is about like the fallibility and flawed nature of the human experience.
Yes. From blowing things up to...
John McEnroe, Oppenheimer, the people that can't sing at church who just turn their mics down. Do that.
Yeah.
Put it on the guy that's real good.
It's fine if you... Like, I've never listened to, like... And like, oh, I'm not going to listen to them because it doesn't sound like professional
There's some real
singing.
bad ones, let me tell you. It's hilarious.
Oh, now I'm going to need to be...
I'm going to send you a link.
Yes.
There's a site where you can watch all the fails. It's real funny.
Oh, I want to see this.
Because what's funnier than someone failing when they're being sincere?
Yeah. Oh, nothing's
It's
funnier.
great.
Nothing's funnier.
Okay. I'll get you covered on that. Any hoodles. Thank you all for listening. As always, thank you for using our codes.
Yes.
And supporting us that way. It means so much.
Oh, check out our wonderful new merch. We've got a new sweatshirt up there. If you're in the Brain Candy Clubs, you are
going to love it.
Such a cool sweatshirt. It gives like 90s throwback vibes.
Like Liechtenstein / Batman
/ what was that show? Double Dare.
Double Dare. Splats everywhere.
Yeah.
It's great. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.